Hey, hello everyone. So welcome back to the last day of JavaScript beginner workshop. So we have completed so long, like we have completed literally everything that basics as a JavaScript developer you need to know, like everything, literally everything we have completed. So I want to know like whether my voice is audible and everything is perfect, any disturbance, anything has happened like that. I want to know. So just a minute, I share my screen. If you have any if you have any issues, just give the comment here, and just give, if you have any doubts also, you just ask here, like I will be ready to clear those doubts, because we're going to complete the DOM section today, and if possible we're going to create some projects, and we're going to see about some of the advanced concept also. And okay, so I check my voice is audible for all, right? Fine. So if you face any issues regarding voice and all, just give a comment, I will be there. I hope that the last session you will understand how the DOMs, and it is super easy, right? So we fetch it and we can able to do, we can add it and that's it. Most of our job is as a JavaScript developer to make a website as dynamic. If someone clicks that, I need to do something. That is the basic work for everyone they do. Like we go and recall that. We move on to what are the other things that are available in a DOM API that we would see that. Okay, fine. So let's go for the HTML, and I just opened with live server. So this is our HTML done last day. So what we have did, um, we have I just delete the code. Not for getting the body, so that is all going to be the roots element, so we can call it like this. So for getting an, we need to call the ID, so we need to give, because it's going to be an unique, so we need to call that ID. And we have seen some of the properties that how it works with in JavaScript. If we have CSS property, what it will do, it will change something, we can able to change the text alignment, everything. The same like that, what the JavaScript property will do, the JavaScript properties help us to manipulate. Like if I want the inner HTML, I can able to do so many things. We're going to discuss that. And we see about how we can use the JavaScript function and how to use the event handler. So this is going to be the event handler on click. That is what we have discussed. So yeah, if someone clicks this, you can see the changes. Now it's not changing. Like we have checked that what is the work we have done. Yeah, I after this code I will do some changes. That is why. Okay, so if I click this, it is not working. Okay, go for here, we can check on click is there, click me is there. If someone clicks this, we need to add the x dot inner HTML is yes I am, and we need to change the body style is to background. And what is the x is equal to document dot get element by ID. We have the ID of para. Go here, I changed everything to class, so I just changed this to ID. So last class we have discussed this, right? So I have that has an ID. So I, by using the, I can able to grab an element, and I can able to manipulate that by using some of the property. Can able to manipulate that, and it is literally changed to something. Okay, so by using that we can able to manipulate like this para one, like this. And if I click, still it's not working. Let me check that, and we move on to the topic. It's going to be ID. Yeah, it is working. Okay, several changes that makes this to done. Okay, so using document or get element by ID, what we can able to do, we can grab an element, and by using the function we can able to wait for particular thing to change. And we can use event handler like on click on change something, and we can pass that function with. So if that event occurs, like if that event takes place, then it will run. For example, instead of on click, what happens if I give something like on we can go here and we can say we have so many things like on focus, on input, on load. If I give on load, then what happened? I just try to reload. Okay, for that I need to, if I wrap it in wrap this button into a form. Okay, so then it automatically takes place the loading. Okay, so unload. We have several options that we can work with. So the most common is obviously on click. Okay, it is working. We remove this form. Okay, so we have so much of things to work with. Like we have, I think on mouse over is a best example, like mouse enter. So this is going to be one of the event that if I mouse enters to it, so you can see the change. If the mouse leaves it, it will not see the change, like that. If what happened, instead of clicking that button, if the mouse is get entered to that button, you can see it get changed, right? So and also we can pause, like if the mouse is, we can pause another function also, like multiple event handler. What we can do, we can pause on mouse leave. So if the mouse enter, what happened, the background is changed, right? So if I say on mouse leave, you need to run, what you need to run, you need to run a function like that. You can say, and you can change whatever the color you want, you can change that. So that is actual code we actually need. Okay, so that is how we need to work with. So these are all the things, essential things that right now we have discussed, and we go for furthermore. So what we see how to get an element their id. So right now we're going to see what happened if I want to grab more elements. Why? Because what are the pros of getting an id? It is going to select the way, which is going to select only one, because the id is going to be unique, so it is going to be select only one. So what happened if I want to select more than a number and I need to give a more than a styling? So how can I do that? So for doing that, you can able to select an element by using their classes also, and also by using tag also. So this is, I am already mentioned, there are three methods to do that, to grabbing an element, one id, and another by using class, and another by using tag. So the same how you use it in css, same that here you can select. Okay, so right now, for example, here you can see this body, it is something like a tag selector only. Okay, so here we can go by using class, how to select this. So let me see how can we select this. So instead of id, I just going to comment this. So what I'm going to do, just going to create an h2 tag with, here is going to give a class of para. Okay, so this is going to be the class, and here I going to say welcome everyone. I just going to select this, and I just going to call the again. So the classes, we can able to give the same class name for every element. That is not a problem, right? So here, welcome to everyone, I just give everyone, and again just copy this, and here I just give one, like this. We have three paragraph tags. So if I save this, you can see that we have three paragraph tags. Okay, so now what happens, I need to element, like I need to select this multiple element. How can I do that? So for doing that, what you can do, you can use the class selector. How can I do that? Means if I say let y equal to document dot, so if I say document, it is going to be in the DOM API. So I say get, instead of element by id, we can use element by class name. You can notice that I'm using elements by class name. This is the thing you need to get when you are working with, when you want to access the class name. So after that, you need to give the parenthesis, you need to give which thing you need to select. So I just the comment of this. Okay, so now right now, if I say para, if you have a doubt, like, so there are three here, so which element it will select? So the answer is, we can console log it and we can find it. So I just go for the console.log, and if I say y, we can find it out very easily. If I click for the inspect, go for the console, and you can see a HTML collection. Just this reference error, just don't care about the reference error. You can see collection, HTML collection with have an id, something looks like array, like it's pretty similar to array. So if I click this, you can see, yes, it looks like array, but not, it is not an array. Okay, so it is not an array. So by using this, what we can able to do, we select more than one element. We can able to select more than one element. So each element is stored in an different indexes. Like it is stored in the 0th index, same like array, but it is an array. Okay, so we cannot use the array methods like push, pop, unshift, shift. We cannot use here. Okay, it is not possible. So only we can able this like an array. Okay, for example, if I want to change everything, okay, if I want to change everything with the different styling. For example, I want to change the color of first to red, second one to green, yellow, third one to green. How can I do that? So by using CSS selector, you can give the common selection and you can do that. When I do that, for example, instead of inner HTML, we can remove this, click me, and what here I can do, if someone clicks this button, you need to do y. If I y, what you get, you will get an currents, right? You can notice that you will get all the three collection. So if I want to select the first one, then what I need to do, I need to choose the index. For example, I choose this first one. So what is the index of it? It's going to be 0. So I can mention something like 0 dot. You can use the style. So it's going to this is also a property, is going to change the style of the property. So what the property I need to change? I need to change the color of property, and I can do this, and here I can use, it's going to be red like this. Someone clicks this, refresh. If some, sorry, here we give the mouse enter event, we remove this and we can give for the click event. We can give for the click event. So if someone clicks this, you can see the colors get changed. So what happened if someone clicks, not only this color need to change, this is need to change to different. So now what I can do, we can just change the index of it, like 0 I can give 1, and I can give the style, I can give the color, and we can say it's going to be, instead of color, can we go for background? We can go for background. And note, you need to give everything in a camel case. Okay, so that is an important. Background color is going to be an yellow. Not great, but it's fine. So if I click this, it is not working. I think I made a spelling mistake. By clicking and I just click, you can see it is pretty ugly, but it's fine. So likewise, you can able to select each and individual elements, and by using loop also you can able to iterate it. Like you can able to use that to iterate the loop. That is also possible. Okay, so this is right now you can find. And also we have what we have, by using tag also we can able to select this. So for example, instead of class, so the tag element is also same, like this is going to be class element. So what I going to say, I just comment class element and I say let is equal to document dot get element by tag name, elements by tag name. Here it is available, and here you can mention what tag you need to select. If I say h2 tag, then it's going to select the h2 tag. If I click inspect, you can see it is in y. So if I save this, you can see every tag element is selected. So class is select based an element based on the this element. If it is going to be tag, it's same like class, but it selects the tag element like a tag selector. Click this button, the same everything will be happen, right? So this is going to be the 3 types of grabbing an element. So by using id we can able to grab, and by using class we can able to do that, and by using instead of class what we have something like class, we have a tag name. So 3 things, so we can able to grab this using 3 things. So what is the difference between among this? The difference is id is going to be unique, it is going to be only one. So if you want to select a particular one, you can use it. So what is the use case of class and tag? So whenever we want to work with some of the loops, like we loop through an element, so in that cases we can use this. Okay, so this is going to be very useful after a couple of minutes ago. Okay, so we have another 2 elements also, like query selector and query selector element. I will explain that why, in what cases that will that's going to be helpful. Okay, so right now just understand we have things. So just come to the property. So right now what are the property we have seen? We have seen what is inner HTML, and we had seen like what is style and what is it will do, right? So from this we have several properties also we can. Okay, just a minute. I take my reference. Okay, so one is like first we win inner HTML and inner text. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use y dot this third one. Okay, so for that, I just going to use the index 2 dot, I'm going to say inner HTML. So what is the use of inner HTML is, we can change the inner HTML like hello. If I say if this means it is not working. Okay. So I comment of this, sorry for that. So we will go for the class name. We will comment the class name. And if I save this, you can see it will change the inner HTML, right? Change the inner HTML of it. Okay. So by this inner HTML, we can able to pass the HTML tag. For example, I can also pass the inner HTML is going in a bold. So I can pass the HTML. Say this tag, this is going to be the HTML element. Okay, we can able to pass the HTML element. So if I pass this HTML elements get validate and it is going to display the bold way. Okay, so instead of bold, I can say empathize, which means it's going to stress that uh, and it is going to display it in a italic way. So italic like little bit slightly slanting. So if I save this, it is emphasized, right? So in inner HTML property, it is valid to give this HTML element. So it convert this HTML element to specific function and it will show the answer for us. Okay, so this is valid. But when I use the text, it simply it just says simply pause the text itself. It doesn't care about that elements we are pausing. For example, if I change the inner HTML to inner text like this, so what this will do, it will you can see it doesn't convert that, it doesn't convert that HTML tag. Instead what it will do, it will directly pause whatever we are pausing. Okay, so this is the difference text and HTML. So simple way we can say inner text is going to pause whatever we are giving inside it. Inner HTML, it also pause whatever we are going to give, but instead of blind pausing, it will check whether any HTML is there. It will work, it will transfer the HTML to an HTML file and then it will pause. Okay, so this is the difference between inner text and inner HTML. And also we have something called as content. Yeah, we have that, and that is also a little bit same like inner text, and we can do that. So this is most two things, it's right now fine. Okay, so this is the property, and what we see, this is going to change the inner text. So it is used for changing the text of an element, changing the text of an element. So this is going to changing the text of an element. So for changing the style of an element, we already know, like we need to use the style, and you need to give which property you need to change, and you can give the value, it will change that. So what if I need to change an attribute? Okay, for example, attribute. Okay, for example, let me add an image here. Okay, so a beautiful image we need to add. Okay, so I just going to add an image, and it is going to be all is going to be image. So for that, I just go for the splash.com. Okay, so before that, what we will do, we will comment all the extra things we have, like these things. Okay, yes. So right now we see what is the properties. So first property is to change the, so right now we're going to see how to change the HTML of it, like attribute of it. So for beautiful things, I can take this. So I just copy the image address, go for the index.html, and I just in the source folder I will add. Okay, it is not, I need the copy the image address, copy image address here. I just remove this and I just add this. So go for here, and we will have little big thing, I know that. So I just add the height and width here. So width is going to be the 50 pixel, and height, so not going to be 50 pixel, it's going to be 50%, 50%, and height is going to be 400 pixel. And if I save this, you can see this is going to be the image. Okay, so don't worry about the styling and all, we don't want that. We can use the styling too. Okay, so to look great, so here we can add the image. So we can add what here we can add the, okay, what happened, we can add the image tag, and we can this to margin auto, and we can make this display to block. Okay, right now it is in the center. So something like this. Okay, fine with this. So this is going to be the image right now, just this ugly looking image. Fine. So right now what I'm going to do, if someone clicks this, I need to change this image. How can I do that? So for doing that, we need to, so what is the image have? The image have src. So what is this src? This is going to be the attribute of the image. So this is contained the image address. So what I need to change, I need to change this image address, right? So I just go for here and another image, and it looks good. So I just go and copy image address, come here for JS, and here what I'm going to do, I just going to say let we can say x, uh, instead of x I say equal to, and I'm going to have this folder inside it. So I just save this. Okay, fine. So now what I'm going to do, I need to change, this is going to be our website, so I need to change this website when someone clicks this button. Okay, so we have everything like on click is there and click me function is there. So the only thing what we need to do, we need to create a function to change that, right? So I just going to create a click me function, and here we can empty everything. Okay, so here we need to add the program. So for that, first I need to grab this element. So this is going to be an image element. How can we grab? We can grab by using the tag element, right? So here we go and grab by using the tag element. Okay, just comment off here. So what is that element we're going to tag? We say let src image equal to document dot get element by tag name. So here what is the tag? It's going to be image. So note this, even if it has one image, it is going to return a collection only, HTML collection. So we need to mention the index properly. So if I say soc console.log src image, go for the console, and if I try to check it out here, you can notice that cannot access image before initiation. Where where we are accessing in the line of 22. Okay, sorry, I just given a variable. So right now it's fine. You can see don't this reference error. So why this one? We comment off this. So we comment off this. Okay. So this is going to return a HTML collection. So it is going to have an one element. So this is what we need. So what I'm going to do, I just to say y. So this is going to have the HTML collection. In that collection, I need 0th one. So that is going to select this image src. If you want to change the attribute of it, you need to give dot, and you can say attribute. Okay. So I think I mess up with the spelling. Let me check what is the correct spelling for our attribute. Okay. So it's going to be double T. Yeah. Attribute. Going to be the attribute. Fine. So and we need the equal to, and here we can pause whatever the thing we need to pause. For example, I can pause image to it. So this is going to be, if I click this, it's not going to be run. So here instead we can pause this image. Okay, so why it gets comment. Okay. Like this, and okay, we can check whether with the console.log and check with see whether it is working, whether this is working. Yeah, we can say y is not defined, so I think I'm different. Yeah, I just, this is our image, this is not going, so this is our image, so I just going to use this image SRC and everything, and I just pause the image. So now if I try to click this, it is working, but the image is not working. So can pause the image itself. So if I click, so the function is fine, but the image is not working. I think we made several changes in the image. So what we will do, we can go for the like we say like style dot yeah attributes. We have set attribute method is also available, but we need some properties. We don't want to set attribute. Let me check attribute. So I think attributes is going to be the property. So we check, we can copy some other address like this. We can go and copy the image address, and instead of image we can pass it here, and we will give also. And if I click, oh, it gets changed, right? So whether it gets changed or not, what is the image we paused about that, like refresh. Okay, so it is not getting changed. So instead of that, we can use the set attribute method, whether going to work. So what I'm going to do, instead of this, I think it get rid, I think. So we can use the set attribute to be one of the method, and here we can pause which attribute we need to select. So the attribute I need to select is my bad. So sorry for that. This is my mistake. So what I did, instead I'm calling the attribute instead of calling that attribute. So what I need to say image. So I need to call that source file. Okay, so source file, and we need to say which one. So instead of attribute, we need to say which one I need to take. So the which one I need to take, I need to take the SRC. Okay, so that is why I'm I'm thinking different. My muscle memory is right now, only my muscle memory works. Okay, so I just say image. So now what happened in the image, SRC image in 0th index, you need to take the SRC and you need to change that image. So that is how it is get works. You can see the images get changed, right? So if I recreate it, if I click, you can see the images get changed. So this is the this is the work behind some of the carousels. We have seen some of, if some you click this, a slider is coming with a neat transition and animation effect they add. We don't add that. That is actually here. Okay, so here you don't want to call the attribute, you need to call which attribute. So here what I need to change, I need to change the SRC. So that is why I called the SRC attribute. So instead, if you want to change anything, for example, if you are using and link, you can use the link, like anchor tag, you can use the anchor tag. You click that, you need to change somewhere else, you can use that. And there also, this is going to be the property for that, what is return statement. Okay, so like right now you can see this function is does not return anything, right? So because this function is working with this function is, it's not returning anything. Like, so for example, if you return some logic, for example, you want to add some other thing and you need to do that. So the return statement is the thing, it tells that function is going to end, and it going to send the value to the person who it calls the function. Okay, so the return statement is something like we can pass the result to the person who calls it. So I just give an example. For example, if I create a function, instead of doing this, so this is DOM property, so here we don't want to return anything. But if I'm doing some of the work, like if I say add, this is going to be my function, and here we have two parameters, like a comma b is going to be the parameter. It's a little bit weird. What I say, let, if I say let c is equal to what I want to do means a plus b. This is what I need to do. Okay, instead, if I say, if I simply call that function, okay, if I simply call the function and I'm passing the value 3 comma 5, so it is not going to work, right? So let's see how it is working. So I just want to call the function in the console. So console log, I just calling the function in the console, and you can notice that it is not going to work. I go for the console, it is, you can see it is going to return undefined, because we don't say what to return. So we need to say return. So if the function run, you need to return something. If I say return, so this keyword is going to return something to whom the person is calling that function. Here the console log is calling that function, so it's going to return. So here we can mention what to return. So what is the value we need to return? We need to return the value c. So if I can call like this, and here you can see it will be work. So if I don't add the return, and you can notice that it's going to do undefined. I'm calling the function, but nothing, a name specified return is there. But now you can ask the, like here you don't add the return, then how it is get changed? So here it is going to be DOM property. It is not returning anything to the JavaScript file. So it is going to return it's to the DOM, not to the JavaScript file. Okay. So the return is some logic you need to, if you are writing some logic and you need to return something to a variable or anything in the JavaScript file, you need to use this return. Most case we use this return, and this is an, we can call, if you use the return inside the function, it is going to be the function purity. We call this function purity, like we have a flow, that's we call that, don't confuse with that. Okay, so this is all about return, so you don't, you can just clear it that. Okay, so this is going to be the functions. Okay, so come to the topic. Fine, so this is going to how you need to change the attribute of an element. Okay, so then what we need, like if I click this, you can see the change. So this is going to be attribute of an element. There is also a method is available to change the attribute of an element. So what is the method is, we have set attribute. So property is like object, we have access the property. Method is like a function. So how can I do that? Means we, instead of calling this, we can have set attribute. So this is going to be an attribute method. So here we can call, inside this we can pass which attribute. So which attribute I need to do, I need to call the src, and what thing I need to pass the value. So the value is going to be the image. So I can pass like this, and now also this work perfectly. Like I think I need to put this in string. You can see it will be work. So here I'm giving which attribute I need to do, and here I need to give which value I need to pass. So this is going to be the attribute, and this is going to be the value. So this is for changing the attribute of an element. So if you want to change the style of an element, what you need to use, you need to use dot style, and dot style dot, you need to give which property, and you need to give equal to something. Okay, so this is going to be the what, like we can say like changing the style of an element. So that is what we have discussed here. Okay, so right now we move on to the next thing, like how to create an element, append an element, delete an element, all these things we're going to see here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just be, I'm going to show you the methods. Come on, like I'm going to show you the methods that are available. So for creating an element, we have a method called create element. For example, I'm going to say let x is equal to, document dot get element by id. So here I can give, instead of element by id, I can give the body. Okay, so just consider I just fetching the entire body and I stored it in x. So here I say x dot, we have a method called create element. Okay, that's the method. Create element, and by using this method we can create what the element we need. For example, I can say div. So I just going to create a div element. So if I say let okay, I want to say let x is equal to document dot create element. Instead of x I can say y. Okay, so if I say console dot log y, now you can see an element is created. If we can able to view that, you can see a div is created, right? So this is, I want to remove an element. So how can I do that? For example, I want to remove this DOM manipulation from the body. How can I do that? So for that you need to fetch that element first. So I just going to say let y equal to document dot get element by, I can say id. So I go for here and I pass an id here. Id is equal to hh, and here in the app.js, here we can view it's going to be hh. Okay, so after completing this, so instead of y we can say t, something like this, and we can use a method t. So now what is the t? T means this document dot manipulation. So we have a method called document t dot remove. So if I say this, you can see that entire element get removed. Okay, so likewise we can able to remove an element. Okay, so and also we have something called as remove child. For example, we have a method called, we can, instead of removing like this, we can access the DOM first, document dot remove. We have a method called remove child, and here you can say which element you need to remove, and you can call that element. For example, if I say it's going to be if I want to remove the element t, so I just going to say t. So I save this, need to give pause the element. Just a minute. Remove child, the node will be removed, is not a child of its node. Okay, so this is not valid. Like we need to see about what is node and all. So we discuss that. Okay, so we discussed that itself. Okay, so just to remove, you can use the remove thing. So next thing, if you want to append something, so how can I append something? For example, I create a div. Okay, so this is the div I created. You can see. So inside that, I need to pass something. So how can I do that? For example, inside the y, so if I say inside the y, so I going to say y dot, and inside that I need to pass something, right? So here we create an element like x equal to doc x, not like we can say append equal to document dot document dot child is there, and we can pause the append child element, which element to append. Like for example, if I want to add the p tag, okay, something like this, and we can add it to the element. Okay, so by using this we can able to add it to this element. Like it also says append child a node, we need to pause something, right? So we need to see what is node and all. So before that we need to go for this append child, remove child, and delete child. We need to discuss something. So that is called what is node and what is HTML collection. For example, if I use the class name, you can notice that if I use this class name, what it will returns. So it will returns the it will returns the where y is taken here. So it will returns the HTML collection, right? So what is the issue with this HTML collection means? So by using the HTML collection, you are not able to use the higher order functions and all. For example, I'm not able to use the for each to loop through it. I'm not able to do that. For example, just comment all the thing. You can go with a little bit fresh. So I can say let we comment this also, and just copy this, and y is going to have let element is going to have this thing, document dot get element by id class name, the things. Okay, here I can say console.log elm. So what it's going to do, it's going to return me an HTML collection. So if I try to loop through it, I can able to use the for each. I can able to use the for loop to loop through it. It will work. Okay, so it is definitely work. But if I try to use the for each method and all, it will not work. Okay, for example, how can I say that? For example, first I just go for here the traditional loop. So I just going to say for I need to loop through it and I need to display it in my console separately. How can I do that? I can say for, so here we can give the condition let I equal to 0, and here we can use the condition to check I is less than x dot length. So it needs to, if the I value is less than elm dot length. So I think hope you remember these things, right? If elm is less than dot length, and I need to pass I value to increase every time the loop runs. So I think hope you remember what is for loop and all. Okay, I'm going a little bit quicker. So here what I need to do, I just want to in the console display elm, and in this syntax I need to pass the I. That's it. So it is going to loop through this element and it is going to display it to me. So if I run this, you can see it is get loop through it and every element in the loop is get run. So if I add another element here, it is automatically gets loop through it. You can see it is going to be 4. So we can able to have loop through it. So by using the loop we can able to display it also. So what I can do, for example, we can create an empty div. Okay, so we can create an empty div and we can able to display it that we can see. Okay, so we just remove this. So we can able to loop through it by using the traditional loop. So what if I use the for each loop and all? For example, if I use the for each loop, for example, instead of using for loop, it is little bit weird and tough. So what I'm going to do, I just say elm, just select the element and I just go for the for each. So this is going to be iterate everything. So I just going to use the for each element and I just going to take the elements. I just going to take the elements, and if I say just loop through all the things and you need to display the elements, if I say elms, and it is definitely going to throw me an error. So the thing is here the HTML collections, it is just pass only that id, so it is not going to pass anything. So here we cannot use those higher order functions and the newer features that are available in the JavaScript, we cannot use it. So here there is a failure, right? So how can I use this for each map method, filter method to loop through this element? So for that, what we can do, we can able to access this element in a different way. So we can instead of getting a HTML collection, we can able to get it by using node list. Okay, for example, I will say you. So instead of giving, so here comes the another two way of grabbing an element. So here we're going to have query selector. We're going to have two things. One is going to have query selector and another one is going to have query select all. So this is the another two method we can able to use it instead of using the class name and tag name. So what is the query selector will do? The query selector selects the first element itself. For example, if I want to select an id, so in id it is going to be unique only, so we can able to select only one element. Fine. So if I select the, instead of this, I just comment this and here I use let elm, we can remove, we can comment this too. So here I just say just element equal to here document dot query selector. If I use the query selector, you can see query selector is here, and inside this you need to use this quotations, and here you need to give a selector. Like for example, if it is going to be id, you need to give the hash. If it is going to be an class, you need to give the dot. If it is going to be tag, you can simply call it. So here I'm going to select it by using the class, so I need to give the dot, and what I need to do, the which name I want to select. So para. So if I do that, so in class name, what it will do, it will return a HTML collection and it will fetch everything that has para class, right? So but now if I save that, you can see only one is selected, only the first element is get selected, right? So that is what the query selector will do. It will take the, if you have more than an element, it will take only one element, that is going to be the first element of that collection. Okay, so that query selector will do. So instead you need to want to get everything, what you can do, you can pause the query selector all. So if I use the query selector all, then what it going to do, it will fetch everything, it will fetch everything. But you can notice that the difference is here, it is going to have a node list. So what is node list? So if I have the node list, then I can use all the higher order functions, and it not only going to send the element, it's going to send the inner text, it's going to send the attribute, it's going to send everything. So we can able to look through it everything. Okay, for example, you can notice that we are not able to use this for each method when we are using the class name, right? So it throw an error. But here if I use this for each method, here if I use the for each method, now you can see it is returning the answer, right? So we can also use the traditional loop, and also we can use this higher order functions methods and all, we can able to use that. Okay, so the only difference is class name and tag name, it is going to return the HTML collection. So in the HTML collection, we are not able to, by using the HTML collection, we are not able to use those higher order functions and all. So we cannot, we are not able to. But here what we can do, we can able to something called here it returns a node list, so we can able to use this higher order functions and all, and we can able to work with all the syntax and all everything. Okay, so that is the main reason so why we are using the node. Okay, so that's it for this selector. So every selector we had been seen, so for every selector we had been done. And the next thing what we're going to do, we're going to see about what is event handler in DOM. So event handler is another way of giving an event to an element. For example, so right now how we pass this function, so we pass the function by giving something called on click here. So instead of using the JavaScript event here in the HTML, what we can do, we can pause it. For example, here in the button, if someone clicks the button, something has to happen. How can I do that? You can use a method called add event listener. For example, first we need to fetch that element. So I just say let bdn equal to document. So in the document we have only one better, so I just going to say query selector, and you whatever the selector you want to use, you can use, no problem with that. And here I can say it is going to be simply button tag. Okay, so if I say console, if I say console.log bdn, and if I console log it, you can see the button is get selected. So now what we can do, we can call the button and we can add a event listener in JavaScript itself. For example, add event listener, this is the method we're going to have, and we have this is inside this. Here you need to say which event you to add. For example, I need to add a click event, so here you can see. But note that here we don't want to use any prefix like on, like that we don't want to use. We can directly use this. After that, what we can do, we can able to directly pause the function that want to run. So it just has some flow, right? So it has some flow of work, like has some flow of work, and we can able to do that, like we fetch the element and adding the event to it, and what should happen, we will directly adding, so it will give some flow of things, right? That is why we are doing this. Like for example, so here if someone clicks this function, you need to pause, you need to run this function. So what function I need to run? So the function I need to run is just give me console.log hello. So if someone clicks this, you need to pass the console.log to hello. So if I click this, you can notice the hello is returning, right? How many times I'm clicking, the hello is returning. So here I don't touch the HTML and all, but I can able to do that. So this is the power of event listener. So not only this, it has a more power. Like if you want to add more than one event listener, then what you need to do. So here I add mouse over mouse, something like that. So here you can add it. Okay, so here you can add it multiple event listener for a single element with disturbance. Okay, for example, after running this function, I just going to say button. So this is going to be the click event. So what happen if I want to add an mouse over event for the button? So how can I add that? If add event listener for the same element, I going to add another event that is going to be the mouse not down. I can say mouse over, mouse enter. We can go for mouse enter. If someone's mouse enter into the button, you need to call a function. Okay, so just give a comma, you need to pause the function with the parenthesis, and here you can see, like, we can say if someone gives the listener, okay, why it's entered here, it's need to end here. So in that function console.log, we can say mouse is enter. So now what happened? We adding two event listener for the same button. So here also we can able to add, but think about that, the element we are giving so much of attribute. Is it okay? So the answer is no, right? So it is not okay. So like that only. So see, I entered into the mouse. You can see every time I entered into the mouse, you can see that like mouse dot enter is get triggered and it will send me that, right? So if I click this, you can thus click event get run. So the mouse enter is run, mouse click is done, like this. So we can able to add more event listener uh, very functionally. Okay, so that is the main thing. And also, and another thing that we need to say is template literal. So the template literal just simply overrides the nodes property like create element, append element, and move element. We have discussed, right? We need to something see about what is node and all. So we by using the template literal simply add it. For example, I just going to show that. For example, what I going to do, this is the last thing we guess. Okay, so here I just going to create an empty div. So the div is going to have an id. The div is going to have an id, maybe like entry. This is going to be the entry. So now what I can do, I can able to add, someone clicks this, I need to add an bunch of entry. How can I do that? For example, first I need to fetch that first the div. So I just say div entry, let entry is equal to document dot get element by id. So what is the value we give? It is also entry. So here I just say entry. Okay, entry. So here what I say, entry. So for entry, we need to add an event listener. So I just say if someone clicks this button, that's to be executed. So we need to fetch that button also. So we already have that button, right? So I just going to remove this. So if someone clicks this button, add an event listener for this. If someone clicks this button, you need to run a function. So what function you need to run means, so here we're going to use a template literal. So what is mean by template literal means, like we can able to add a bunch of things into it. For example, inside this entry, so like I can declare it here. Okay, so we have declared the entry. Here I can say just fetch that entry. Inside that entry, inner HTML, what I can do, add, this is going to be the assignment operator. Inside that, okay, it is going to add what I need to add. I need to add a bunch of things, like I just want to add a paragraph, and the paragraph has hello everyone. So this is the thing that is going to be have, and we can add like this. Okay, so what happened if someone clicks this button, a new, right, we have a div, but you can notice that the div will not there. But if you add like console.log, we can say, yeah, okay, yeah, you can see. Mm. a div is created, and every time I'm clicking, you can see the div is created and it is producing a value, right? So this is also a purpose of, like, instead of using create an element and it should be p, and inside that append an element that is going to have some values, and inside you need to do something like that, you can use this template literal, you can use that. And also the huge thing here is we can able to pass the variable too. For example, here I have a variable let name equal to, I have the variable like this. So what I can do, I can able to pass that variable to, like, I just remove a paragraph tag. So inside this paragraph tag, I can able to pass an h1 tag. Okay, so the h1 tag is going to end also. So I just going to have the h1 tag. So here I just want to fetch this name. How can I fetch this? You can use the dollar sign, and you can use this something like the curly braces, and you can call whatever the variable name you want. So if I click this, you can see it create an h1 tag, and it creates the paragraph tag. So every time I click this, you can see it produces a new one, right? So likewise we can add something like this, or otherwise we can remove this. So instead of every time adding it, we can add it for one time. That's it, it will add for only one time. So if I use the plus sign, then what it will do, it will add for every time and the function gets run. That's it, we can able to do that. So this is an example. Like, instead of that, what you can do, you create an object and array like this, and what you can do, you can loop through that by you can use the loop method, how to loop through it, and you can pass every information inside here. So for example, if I say let x equal to, we're going to have something like this, and I just going to have user, and here I just going to have an name of Harry, and here I going to have like email. Okay, yeah, email, it's going to be Harry at something like that. How we can access this inside it, we can access this inside simply calling just call the username. User is going to be user, it's going to be an array. So I just going to call the array index, and I just use dot, and here what I can able to do, I can use the user simply like this. So if I click, okay, it's not going to be user. Here we need to pass the x. So x, in the x array we need to get the username. So if I click this, you can see my name is fetched. For email, what we can do, we can use this template literal again. So here we can say x, and we can give the bracket, and in zeroth index, and you need to give the email. Instead of user, we can give the email. Okay, like this. So if I click this, you can notice that my email is come and my name is come. So this is how your data get transferred, and it will be go for everywhere. Okay, so this is the basics and little bit about DOM. Okay, so all other functionality will be used there. Okay, so in one line, name, age, and other entity, how to fill. In one line, name, age, and other entity, how to fill in internal HTML. Like, that is what I explained. Like, we have a sync between two. Like, that is what I do. Right? You can see this is consider this is going to be the user information, a data file, and in the data file, what we are doing, we're just getting the file, and we are manually given that, right? So instead of manually passing that, what we can do, we can create a loop. How we create a loop here, we can just create a loop for that, and we can just it here pause it here. So it is also very simple. Like, how can I do that? How can I do that means, like, we can use this for each method. I just uncomment of it, and I just cut it here. So inside this what inner.html, we can use that for each method, like, loop through it, and in the we can say just go for X and you can loop through it, and here it is going for X only, so we can go say item. Okay, so every item it's going to loop through it, every item it's going to loop through it. So here we can say item. Okay, simply we can say entry.inner HTML equal to, cut this, I'm going to paste it here. So we can remove this, we can remove this too, and here we can say item dot name, and here we can pause item dot name, here we can pause item dot email. So this is going to loop through it. So every time we are you can see this is producing undefined. So why producing undefined? But the email work perfectly, I think. User, not name, so it is going to be user. So now we just only added one thing. So if I added more number of users, so what happened if I added more number of users, so automatically fetch everything like this. So if I give a comma like this, and here if I run here, if I just click this, so here what we need to do, instead of array item we need to pause the +2, because it is going to run for multi of times, like how many length it's going to have. So it is going to run. So if I click this, you can see how many length it has, it will give. Like we can, for changes, I just made something like Rahul Vikram. Okay, so now the loop is going to run according to the length of it. So that is the utility of the for each. So if I run this, you can see every element is in the array, it is fetched and it will be displayed in our DOM2. So this is how your database, whatever you are liking, whatever you are giving, that is in the database, and the database is in a JSON format, and by using the JSON format we can able to create and beautiful interface, user interface. Okay, so this is for DOM. And one more thing, so tomorrow we're going to have an tomorrow we're going to have an and 3 hours of boot camp we're going to have. Like if you're interested in that boot camp, if you really don't know about what is HTML and CSS, I highly recommend that boot camp. Tomorrow we're going to have that, and also the internship program is also going, like it will be helpful for you. And also after completing Saturday class, from next Monday to Friday, so this is beginner level class for JavaScript, we're going to conduct an advanced to mastery level class for JavaScript. It is going to be very knowledge heavy, I'm sure in that. So that is also going to be happen from Monday to Friday except Wednesday, 4 days. So a continuous class is going to have. So if you previous attend everything, all the classes for beginner level, I highly recommend come for the advanced level. You will get some extra bit of knowledge, like how JavaScript is JavaScript is booming, everything you can understand there, like asynchronous JavaScript, everything. So it will be really helpful for you. Okay, so if you have any doubts, contact us in the WhatsApp group or in the comment box. Just you leave a comment after the live ends, I will watch definitely, or just give it in your post and tag us, I will reply for that, sure. And if you want to get through it, just search for LinkedIn Hariprasad, I will be there. Okay, and also contact our team there, we will definitely help you. Okay, so don't worry if you don't fill the attendance. Okay, so 3 days you are, day 3 attendance not fill. So day 3, actually for Wednesday we don't have any classes, only we have Thursday and Friday. Like you don't fill the Thursday means don't worry, like we will check it, whether it is possible, we will send the certificate for all. Okay, surely. So okay, bye, thank you for all.